So my name is Benjamin Carroll, Team Sunshine. We're here in beautiful Hopkinton, Massachusetts, where one of our clients, the Ansells, just got a beautiful 12 kilowatt system installed here. And we're just here to talk about their experience a little bit and to see some of their motivation behind going solar and why they chose to transition to a home that's fully powered by the sun. So welcome, Steve and Mary.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
Appreciate it. Good to see you again.
You too.
And yeah, so I think a good place to start would be a little bit around both of you, and we can kind of go one or the other or whoever, but around your motivation to go solar. What was it kind of that piqued your interest and intrigued you? Steve, why don't you go first?
Well, it's a combination of the fact that eventually we don't have any electric bills.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's much more ecologically sensitive. It's renewable energy. It comes, right from the sun. It's basically free energy that we're not tapping.
Right.
And if we can run our house on free energy from the sun that you don't have to burn fossil fuels for, or anything environmentally damaging, then that's a really good thing.
Beautiful. And Mary, anything to add to that?
My motivation is very similar.
Yep.
And I would say almost 100% from me is about the environment.
Yeah.
And future generations and what kind of world we're leaving for our children and our hopefully grandchildren someday.
Yeah.
That they're going to have a good environment to live in.
Yeah.
So getting away from fossil fuels is obviously very important.
Well, that's awesome. And would you say your duty one way you could say it would potentially be that your duty is to go solar in a sense?
Yes, I think so. I mean, it's just very simple and very logical to do it.
Environmental stewards.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Stewardship.
Also, I made sure that we installed a line for an electric car, so that eventually I want to transition to an electric car.
Yeah.
I'm just not quite there yet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The right brands, the right models come around.
Right, exactly.
But it is the ambition.
That's the ambition.
So awesome, beautiful. So a little bit, so that's the background with the environmental, and we're really, at Team Sunshine, we're very in line and attuned with that, and that's the reason why we built this company. It's the reason why we do what we do. It's the reason why we love solar, is because there's a massive environmental piece to this. And so it's always an honor and a pleasure to work with homeowners where that is a fundamental piece of why they went solar. But in so many situations, and in most situations, it's not only about the environmental aspect. It's also something that makes a lot of economic sense. So for you guys, when you were looking at this from an economic side or an economic perspective, talk a little bit about that. If it made sense, how it made sense, and what was exciting about that for you.
It was a process because we did entertain putting in solar over a number of years. And initially it did not make sense economically.
Right.
And then over time, because of the incentives, it made it much more practical.
Right.
Yeah, and also it turns out that if you put the system in, depending on what kind of incentives there are at the federal and state level, that basically it's paid completely off, or it's paid its way within somewhere between 5 and 6 years.
Right.
And I thought that was really very sensible.
Right.
I mean, I think our average electric bill is about $250 a month. Well, that's $3,000 a year, and so if we can pay off that system with the incentives and with not having electric bills for 5-6 years, I mean,
Why not?
That's it's kind of a no-brainer, really.
It's kind of a no-brainer.
Really a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Actually.
And it's the amazing thing is you do that math for the remaining, 27, 30 plus years that your system's going to be around.
Right.
And I'm no mathematician. I know you're a lot better at math than me, but
well, Ben, I'm pretty good at math, and if I'm around for another 27 or 30 years, that'd be great.
Exactly. And that number is going to be pretty exponential. It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. And that's something that I think is a very interesting point when we start to look at the status quo, which was that we're getting energy from fossil fuels and we're paying $250 a month or whatever most people are paying per month. And you start doing the math and you start adding it up. It's amazing how much we pay in electricity for something that we could also get from the sun.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's pretty wild. And so was there any kind of recognition there, or was there a moment when you realized how much you were actually paying in electricity? Or is it something that,
Well, we knew how much we were paying, but it makes sense in terms of economics and in terms of not polluting.
Right.
Okay.
Environmental impact.
Yeah, both of those things make sense. So if it makes sense economically and it makes sense in terms of a lot less pollution, what could be bad?
What could be bad? And it's something we say, like, solar isn't perfect. There's obviously a little bit of a footprint in getting the system here, producing the system, all these things. But we say it's not perfect, but it's better, right? And so before, you didn't really have two options. Like when you came into this home, right? And how long have you been in this home for?
20
years.
20 years,
20
yeah.
20 years. So you guys have been in this home for 20 years. When you first came in the home 20 years ago, what was the process for getting set up with electricity? It's a little bit of a loaded question.
What was the process for getting set up with there was the electric company.
Exactly.
And they just read the meter and then you're off.
That's it, right?
Yeah, right.
So you have really just one choice.
Yeah, it was really easy.
And it's pretty cool. I mean, I'll get your thoughts on this, but do you find it very interesting, especially talking about your friends who know you're going solar and stuff, that now we have two options? We have another option. And is that something that's interesting to you? Have you been noticing in your conversations with friends that now that you've gone solar and you're having success with it, that it's coming up as something that maybe people are interested in, but they maybe have needed someone to go solar?
I think that there are a lot of people who are interested in solar, and I think that it does help if you have friends that have gone through the process,
Right.
because then it becomes much more
familiar,
less scary.
Accessible.
And it's not a new product, but it is not a new industry.
Right.
But it's not like contacting your local energy source
Right.
and hooking up. So a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know where to go and who to talk to.
Right.
And so it is great to have, I think for friends, when they hear that we've gone solar, it does pique their interest.
Awesome. And kind of going into that realm too, have you guys had a great experience with Team Sunshine? Did you enjoy it?
Absolutely. It was very easy. Team Sunshine made it very easy for us to do this. The numbers that they presented were, made a lot of sense. No problem. And the contractor that they worked with, in this instance, Apex Solar, they did a great job, and they were also very easy to work with. So we were very happy.
Awesome.
And we remain happy. With the system, right?
Great.
And also with this system, you can get backup batteries and backup generator. Well, you don't need a backup generator, but you can get a backup battery so that you can store power, so that if there's a power outage,
Right.
you'll have it.
Yes. All the systems are, how we say, backwards compatible.
Right,
So,
backwards compatible, exactly.
if it makes sense and you want some more energy resilience when you're out of power or anything like that, you can always add the batteries later.
Right.
It's compatible within the system, which is cool.
Right.
Mary, how was your experience? Did you enjoy Team Sunshine? Was there anything that
I would say
in
my
particular?
only concern, and it had nothing to do with the team, was what it would be like to put the solar panels on the front of the house, because that is where it made the most sense.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are concerned about that. I think not so long ago, most residential homeowners wouldn't even think about putting panels on the front of their house.
Right.
And I just thought it's so silly,
Right.
and that this is going to be, again, so much better for the environment, and that is where we're going to have the most impact on the front of the house. And I have to say, I don't even notice them.
Yeah,
When they
right.
went in, it's just nothing.
It's like white noise. White
Right.
noise. After a while, you just don't even notice it. I mean, it's basically the same color as the roof.
Right.
It's right in line with the roof, and it's a roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like with the power lines. You know, at some point you just don't even notice them
Right.
anymore. And I would argue that solar looks a little better than power lines.
Yeah.
But
No, it wasn't
It's just
even a
something that
factor from
becomes
the beginning. It
white
wasn't
noise,
even
yeah.
for me a white noise, something
Mhm.
to get used to. It was a non-issue.
Yeah. Well, and Mary's very visual.
Yep.
She's very strong feelings about things that
Aesthetics.
are aesthetics, things that aren't color coordinated or whatever. And
Yeah.
but
And it works well.
and it works well.
Yeah.
It works really well. I don't even notice it. I mean, it's like
So I
it's
have
just
to
there.
say, that is when you talk about influencing friends.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest impact that we've possibly made is by just feeling really comfortable of putting the panels on the front of the house
Right.
and saying, "What's the big deal?"
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
And in a sense, like, I think because the technology's come so far and we're able now to use black on black panels that are very monolithic with the roof and things like that, like it does blend in really well. And, if anything, there's just a little bit of a technology feel to the roof at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So from here, any comments that you guys have thought about with solar? I mean, actually, one thing would be, now that your house is, and this is kind of this is a fun one, right? So now that your house is running completely on solar energy, have you noticed any difference in your electricity?
No, just no bill.
No. It's so funny. I think it's just something that, because it's so unfamiliar and it's a little bit of a process, and then you get the panels on the roof, there's kind of this like, what's next? But it's just business as usual, right?
Right,
It's just
right.
It's the same. It's literally the same electricity
Yep.
that you would get, underground from the street, from fossil fuels or something.
Yeah.
But now it's coming from the
Which is
sun.
great.
It's a very cool process, actually.
It really is.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And
Everyone should do it.
Right.
yeah, really, I'm actually looking forward at some point to get a big backup battery.
Right.
But we didn't have a generator either, so it's
Yeah.
it's like having a backup generator.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's all very, very cool and forward looking,
Right.
I would say, even though it's here now. I mean,
It should just be commonplace.
just really commonplace. The power of the sun is so easy to
Just
use,
utilize it.
and it's it just is. It makes such a huge difference
Right.
if everybody used the power of the sun that could. Because I guess probably some areas it's a little more difficult.
And I would say, you
Right.
were asking again about impact with friends. I would think that a lot of people still assume that solar is super expensive
Mhm.
and do not realize that there are incentives
Right.
and ways to finance and all kinds of things. So
Yeah.
And
make it affordable for everyone.
And I think it changes from year to year. And right now, I think it's like 26%
26%,
tax credit at the federal level, and the state still has incentives. I've forgotten what that system is called with the state.
The Mass Smart.
Mass Smart
program.
Smart program, where the state gives you back money every year for like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But it just works really, really well.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
well.
So that's a good point, Mary. Like, what was your reaction when you saw the numbers for you? So when we gave you guys the proposals, we went over the numbers. Like, what was
Sure.
your reactions as far as the federal, tax incentives, the state tax incentives, and like how it kind of manipulated?
For me,
the
it was
overall
icing
price?
on the cake.
Right. Yeah.
Because, again, for me, it was really about the environmental impact.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found out that it was actually going to be way more affordable than I had anticipated, then it was kind of like, oh, well, this is just like
a no-brainer.
a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Yeah. Beautiful. Similar experience.
Similar.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah. And let's see. So, I think that's a good. So, obviously, there was a financial piece. It made sense. You guys move forward. Now your home's running on electricity. Have you got your first bill yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did it say?
0.
Isn't that kind of cool? Pretty
Yeah,
fun?
we gotten a bunch of bills actually, and they've
Yeah.
all said 0.
0, right?
Yeah, I think the system went online somewhere around April 1st, end of March, early April, and I mean there's been no interruption in service. It's been really easy.
And you're accumulating credits too. I think your first month was like
I guess.
$270.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
It's whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, and your system is designed to actually overproduce in the summertime.
Correct.
So in the winter, when you need some of that power, you're gonna pull from some of the overproduction of the summer months. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
very cool. Let's see. Anything else? You think there's anything we need to talk about? Okay, overall sweeping recommendation for Team Sunshine.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
That would be 4 thumbs up.
What?
Thumbs up.
What's your phone number?
Yeah. 508. Great. Well, thank you guys. We
All right.
Appreciate it. And I think these words are going to hopefully inspire other people to take the same steps that you've taken. We appreciate the fact that you were environmentally focused and that you've done this. I think it's a huge service to humanity. I think generationally we'll look back on those early adopters of technologies like this and, helping the people on the planet transition to renewable energy. I think it's an amazing cause. I'm so glad you guys did it, and so glad you guys had success. So
Well, thanks for giving us the opportunity.
appreciate it. So there you have it. Ben Carroll from Team Sunshine. Again, we're in beautiful Hopkinton, Massachusetts, and we just want to say a huge thank you to the Ansells. They've been amazing clients. We've had such a pleasure working with them, and we hope the best for them, and hopefully we'll talk to you guys soon, and you can be the next people in line for us to help and have the same success that the Ansells have had.